Hello, welcome to Africa Business Channel. Today we have a special guest, and we're going to be interviewing him and to, tell you his story. And he has a remarkable story that I think, our audience will certainly benefit from. So without further ado, our guest today is Wayne Eiffel. He is the founder of Aunt Phyllis barbecue sauce. And you're going to hear his story. Wayne, introduce yourself, tell the people a little bit about you.
Thanks for having me on your show. My name is Wayne Eiffel. I'm the founder of Auntie Phyllis Bajan barbecue sauce. And we come from the beautiful island of Barbados, located in the Caribbean. I'm sure many people know a lot about Barbados now because of our new national hero, our cultural icon, Rihanna. And for the older folks, many would know about our cricketing legend, the Honorable Sir Garfield Sobers.
Garfield Sobers, by the way, folks, if you're in Africa, you might not know who he is, but he is a world-renowned cricketer, one of the best there ever was. I'd ask that you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. Also, please like this video. Tell YouTube this is a very important video for you and it should be important to everybody else. And by all means, share the video. All right, so again, thank you so much for being on the show today. Wayne, my first question to you is this, because there's a misconception out there. And the misconception is that, people who start businesses come from a line of people who do, big businesses. So I want you to tell us your story. Are you from a line of big business people?
No, I come from a very humble beginning. And my grandmother, whom I never had the opportunity to meet because she passed me like 7 or 8 months before I was born, I was told that she was what those people who Bajans would call a hawker. She would walk the lengths and breadths of Barbados. She would buy produce from persons, and then she would take those things to market so that she can provide income to buy stuff for her family. I have 2 brothers. One is also into food. He cooks food and sell. And I have another one who is an engineer by profession, and he has a mechanic shop. I'm the one who has taken, I guess, the entrepreneurship level to where it is right now, where I actually manufacture Bajan barbecue sauces.
Folks, there you have it. You didn't have, family members who have $1 million companies, and he just sort of jumped into it. He is like most people who want to start a business or who have started a business. He saw a need. And let's talk about that need. So what gave you the idea of starting this thing? Because, somehow something triggered something in you to start this business. Tell us what was the springboard for this company?
Well, I always liked cooking, and everything around cooking had to do with what my mom taught me. And she always taught me from a young boy that whatever you cook should be flavorful. And, it started out with simple things like cooking macaroni or pasta, as people would call it. And you would add in your butter. And she always tell me, Wayne, your food has to have flavor. And as I got older, I actually started a cooking business in 2009, where I used to sell fast food favorites, the chips, the barbecue chicken, you smoke the meats and all this kind of thing. And I would always have to go to the supermarket. I would buy barbecue sauce, but I would always have to come back and enhance those sauces. I would have to add things to it. And as I tell people, I love cooking, but I had a dissatisfaction for the flavors that were coming off of the local supermarket shelves. So I decided, you know what? It is time that I study the art of making barbecue sauces and put my own personal twist to them, flavors that would enhance Bajan flavors.
What we have is somebody who saw a need, identified a need and realized, wait a second, there is a possibility for me to start something here. For those of you who are watching, keep that in mind, because if you're, in a business, you're solving a problem or you're seeing a situation, you're providing a service, you have to provide or fulfill a need, some sort of a need somewhere. That is what a business is all about. So he identified one, and that led to his business. You have to do the same thing. There's no shortcut to it. That's the secret formula to the whole thing. All right. What was the most difficult thing or the difficult process in getting started? What exactly was the thing that if you didn't have determination, it would have stopped you?
The biggest challenge, Coley, is always capital, and not just capital, because remember, you can get capital where you can put together monies to provide assets, but then you want working capital. You want money to do the day-to-day operations. So I usually like to say that the challenge is always capital, because then as you grow the business, as people get to know of the business and they like the product, then you have to look at marketing. You have to look at getting professional services and these kind of things that will grow the business.
Did you start with fancy equipment and all kinds of stuff? Did you go out and borrow a lot of money and then literally just plunk it down and just start manufacturing stuff? How did you start?
Absolutely not. I had to start, as you said, humbly. I started in my kitchen. I had a very small saucepan and I had a pretty big whisk. And I would say it was started out of pocket. So rather than, take money and go to the movies, I would take the money and I would invest it in buying stuff. And I would always research. Research is very important. What it is I'm making and how I can then make what I am making unique to Auntie Phyllis.
He took whatever resources he had, which was not a lot, and instead of going to the movies and to whatever else, he used that money, however small it was, he put that money towards it. So what that tells you is that you can start something with very little money. You may have to start it at a very small scale, but in the series that we're doing online on our channel, we talk about, getting started. And here is someone who has done exactly what we've said in that video. That is, he started humbly and, in this case, he started in his kitchen. Before I get into anything else, I see that you have a lot of products right beside you there. So do us a favor. I see 5 products there. Can you introduce them one at a time for us so the audience can see and get to know what I know?
Okay, so let's start with our original. This is the first flavor that we would have made, naturally, because, as I said, we were transitioning. So we wanted to make something that, people would not have to then add stuff to. And remember, at first, it came out of a love for cooking and a dissatisfaction for the products that were on the supermarket shelves. And when we were doing this, there were 2 young ladies that used to help me on weekends. And people would always come and they want to keep, pouring out all the sauce. And one time they said to me, man, why you don't just bottle this sauce? Because so many people love it, And I say, it's an idea that I always had in mind. And I always wanted to put something together that people can truly enjoy. So we started with the original. Which the original is good for kids, is good for older folks, because it doesn't carry the peppers for any.
Let me add, it's good for people who are not into the spicy side of things.
Yes.
That means anybody, not just kids, everybody.
Yes.
Because in America, some people don't like spicy, so that's good. Okay, what's the next one you have?
Yes. And let me just add, this also offers the opportunity for you, the individual, to put your own personal twist or spin to whatever it is that you are preparing for your family and friends.
Okay.
You might want something with garlic, and you might want something with honey, you might want something with ginger.
That becomes the base. That becomes the base for that thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, this becomes your base, right?
All right.
Then, right next to that, we have our rum fusion. And as you know, Barbados is known as the birthplace of rum. So it would be an injustice to not make a sauce that actually had something with rum in it, infused with rum. And this one it doesn't carry the connotation of drunkenness to it. This is about flavor. This is about when you put this on your pork and your rabbit meat and those kind of things, the flavor and the aroma that comes out of your kitchen. So
Gotcha.
the rum fusion is an excellent, excellent choice as well.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
There we have the pineapple. Let me go with this one. This is a nice fruity flavor that, individuals who like something that's a little acidic and sweet, this is very, very good. This goes well on your ham or your turkey or your chicken. So this is another fine flavor. So we have the sweet heat, and this one has a nice subtle kick. You can enjoy your spices and everything, but it would not be overly hot. And you can also use this in your stews and your gravies. This is our sweet heat. Yeah. But then I had some friends of mine who said, when you talk about this sweet heat, but it's not really hot. So we had a debate, and I said, you know what? I'm going to produce something for you all guys with the ego. So this is our ultimate heat edition, and you'll see, although it has the red label, it has a red band. So this actually differentiates this particular bottle from the others. When you deal with this with the red band,
proceed with caution.
Proceed with caution. This is the really hot guy.
All right. So you've showed us a really nice outline of the products that you have. Now, when you were building these products, when you're making these products, obviously I'm assuming you started out with some kind of a base, and then you sort of add one product at a time, or at least one flavor at a time, correct?
Yes, it's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I'm assuming that at some point you have even bigger plans for the whole company and the kind of products that you're going to be making.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Now, start small, but eventually have your eyes set on the prize. You're going to make X, Y, Z, but it takes many steps to get up to that. So that's what you have to do. And by all means, keep at it, and eventually you'll get it. All right. So let me now, you've showed us some really nice products. So nice package. Okay. Oh, by the way, before I talk about this, I want to say something. The Caribbean is blessed with microclimates. For those of you who do not know what a microclimate is, it simply means within a country like Barbados or Jamaica, different parishes have, the soil is a little different. So you get a rich flavor. That anybody who visits the Caribbean as a tourist, you understand what I'm talking about. The food has richness to it, and the barbecue sauce, the sauce that he has, carries the same richness to it. I see a picture behind you, to your right.
Yes.
Can you describe for me who's in that picture, and why the name Auntie Phyllis?
Yeah, that's actually a real picture of my mom. And as I said, when you start out a business, you need to give it a name. So, although my mom had passed since 2013, it was the ideal way for her legacy to live on. And when I first started out doing the sauce, I said, what better name than Phyllis? My mom, the person who taught me everything I know about cooking. And that picture that you're seeing is an actual picture of my mom. And I had the graphic artist to silhouette it out in such a way that became our logo. So many people ask, but why Auntie and not Mommy?
Well, Mommy Phyllis, okay, yeah, why?
Auntie Phyllis had a better ring, one. But two, even if you don't have a biological auntie, if you recall, well, for instance, for here in the Caribbean,
and Africa,
if you have somebody who you really revere and love deeply, who do you refer to them as? Auntie or uncle? And there's nothing, that resonates better than the name Auntie. It sounds so smooth with Phyllis, So Auntie Phyllis,
I tell you, when I first heard the name, let me tell you what it evoked for me, and which is what you described it. Family. It invoked family, almost like this is my family's sauce. I'm having my family's sauce. That's what I took away. So I'm assuming that's the same thing you're talking about.
Yes. yes,
Awesome.
yes.
So that lady, folks, that's his mom. That's the picture of her. And she's the inspiration behind the name.
Yes,
And
yes.
she's the person behind the man who's making waves with this
The
new
product.
sauce. All right. Talk to me about the marketing. You have to get it out somewhere.
Yeah.
You've got this cool sauce. At first, you were experimenting and you were using it internally, but at some point, you made the transition between from literally using it yourself to getting it out in the market. So talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges you face and how you overcame them. What did you do to get it? And if somebody helped you, who?
Yeah. Well, as you know, as I said, when you start businesses like these, you start everything out of pocket. And usually what people do as they get more money, they would then invest in graphic artists, they will get the banners, the logos, and these kind of things. I opted to do the reverse. I took what little money I had and I decided to do it the right way. And the first thing I did was to register the business. I knew I wanted it to be Auntie Phyllis, and I wanted no one to come up with a name close to similar or anything. So I went to the office of Kaipo and I registered the business as a sole proprietorship because it's not very expensive to do that. So I did that, and then I researched where would I next have to go, and I then went to at that time it was called the BIDC, the Barbados Investment Development Corporation, but it's now called Export Barbados. And I went to them, I took the product, I told them what I wanted to do, and I sought help from we would say the technical officers as to what the label would have to look like, what sizing it would have to be with the words and these kind of things.
Let me just cut right in real quick. This is before. Did you market it before? Was there any chance of a possibility of marketing it before you came up with the label and the name? Or was it just at that point, it was just people tasting it and asking you for sauce?
Yes, that's it. It was just word of mouth, people tasting it, buying into the idea and saying, look, we really like this sauce. How can we get more? And I decided this is the way to go.
Got you. Okay. So people were demanding it. People were asking you for it. Yes. And you figured out at some point that, listen, there's a business here because there's a demand for this. So you said, and so you went and you registered it. Now, folks, he's in Barbados. Barbados, for those of you who don't know, is a country in the Caribbean, just like Jamaica is a country in the Caribbean. And Barbados is part of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, Region 6, so is Jamaica and the Caribbean. They're all, should I say, the West Indies. They're all part of the Region 6. All right. Now you've went to the government and the government gave you some advice on, the requirements of packaging and so on and so forth. Continue.
Yeah. So then, remember I said that I started to do it in my kitchen. But at this point now, people will talk. Barbados is a small island, 166 square miles. So the next thing that I did, I went to the health institutions and I got the health inspectors to come to tell me what I would need to do to my kitchen to make sure that the product that I am going to produce for people to put in their stomach is safe for consumption. So, and all these things are free. It's just about time and going to the relevant agencies and get the inspections done. Of course, you have to have your health certificate. And I also did food safety handling courses. So those are things that you become certified so that there's no questions asked. So you build, while you may have a good product, you want to build it in such a way that when people start to consume it, that they are not skeptical about where you got it from and if it will make them sick. And of course, as we go on, it takes it further afield because you
Gotcha.
want to get into the export market.
Those of you who have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you have not liked this video, we ask that you like it. And by all means, folks, share the video. Our hope is to have more shows like this where you can learn from the people who have done it. Welcome to part 2 of the video. Take one of those and show the folks. That is what you would expect from a very big company. It's professionally done. The design, the logo, the look, the feel, the package, the full deal. It's all there. And so now we're going to talk to Wayne about how he managed to pull that off. Because a lot of people who start businesses never seem to want to, or should I say, never transition quite like you have in terms of the quality of your packaging and so forth. You mentioned that you went to the government for inspection, health inspection, which, by the way, if you're doing food product anywhere in the world, we recommend you do that because, you know, the last thing you want is a government minister, government agency, or somebody from the government show up and destroy your business, pretty much shut it down because you're making food stuff. You know, our policy is do it right the first time and protect yourself. Okay. All right. So Wayne, you talked about you went to the government and the government gave you advice. Is there one big agency in the government that did that for you, that you went to, or were they like two agencies, or did you go to one agency and then they sort of sent you to the other ones, or patched you in with others?
Yes. So as I said, we started and we went to Export Barbados, and then the government has arm, what they call the Trust Loans Unit, where they give small loans to micro entrepreneurs so that they can actually try to start making their product into something that others would absolutely enjoy. And with that, they actually host these pop-up shops around the island. And I remember I started my first pop-up shop back in 2019, shortly after I registered the business. So they would provide all the advertising and the locale, and they would create the space that individuals can come to a market, as it were, see your product, taste your product, and, you know, if they like the product, then they can start to invest in it. And it also gives the individuals looking on the idea of where this product can go. So, you know, yes, can we invest more in this young man? Do people really like the product? What's their view? And that kind of the thing. Yeah.
So let me pick up on that a little bit. African governments, this is, and Caribbean governments, this is just me calling your attention to the fact that his government is there to facilitate, to help his small business. It's not enough to just answer a few questions. You have to sort of create programs or opportunities for small businesses, just like he did, where he was able to go to, you know, expos and other little things where people can actually see him, talk to him, touch and feel the product, and even taste the product. So that's very, 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 very important. Now, from his conversation, you know that he has dealt a lot with the government, which means the government is intimately involved. Let me ask you, because earlier you showed us that beautiful package. Tell us how you managed to pull that off. I know you said you designed the thing, but that's professionally packaged. So explain to us how you did it, and if the government was involved, how were they involved?
After I got the logo how I wanted it, as I said, you're going to the technical officers would say, okay, well, this size is what you would need. This is the lettering it has to be. If you're going to export, if you're going to have to put on your QR code and these kinds of things, they offer that technical assistance. They will then offer to individuals different advertising agents.
Mhm.
Me personally, I have a specific advertising agent that I use to do my printing for my labels. But they will also give you agencies that you can reach out to. Of course, some costs will be involved. Nothing is free, huh? And
Right.
you can
There's some
then
fees
yes,
involved.
and then you can get your packaging what it is. Currently, I no longer make the product in my home because I now use a facility that was organized again by the government. It's called the International Food Science Center, and that's where I now make my products.
Say that again. You no longer, right? Repeat what you just said so that the audience,
Yeah,
because I want the audience to hear
yeah,
this and I want the African governments to hear this. Repeat what
yeah.
you just said. You no longer what?
No, I no longer make the products at my home. I
Uh-huh.
made them at a facility that was put online by the government. It's called the International Food Science Center. It's
The International
located
Food
food
Science Center.
center. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's located in Newton, in Christchurch. Now, the thing about this facility is that it has all the state-of-the-art machinery that you would need to put together your product. Yeah, and they also import the bottles and that kind of stuff. You can take your labels up there. You can take your raw materials, and all you have to do is it's a facility where we will call a shared user facility. So once you can set a date and say, look, I want to book the facility to use for this particular period of time,
Mhm.
you can take your products there and you can spend a day or days producing whatever it is that you are making. And they don't just have the facility, but they also offer manpower that will help you. So there's staff that will assist you in bottling, in making, and even in testing the product.
Okay. You're very clear, but I am going to repeat part of it, not because you weren't clear, but because I want to drive the point home to African and Caribbean governments. Because this is very important. Show them the package range. Show them one of the bottle again, because I want them to see the quality, the level, and show them the red one because the red one has the hot one because it has a plastic around the top. So because sometimes people might think you bottle it. See now, okay. So you see that? You see how we package it properly, guys? You see? Okay. This is for the benefit of any government's ministers who might be watching. So the Barbados government created a facility. They realized that small businesses will not necessarily have the capital, don't have the capital to go out and buy the fancy bottling machines and the equipment to create the finished quality product that you just see he showed us. So the government decided that they're going to invest in a facility. And this facility is going to have, bottling that can be used to bottle all kinds of products, not just what he has, but other kinds of products. In addition, in other words, the standard packaging, they invested in standard packaging, whether it's bottling or wrapping something in a plastic or whatever the case may be. They've invested in that. Now, as Wayne pointed out, when he's ready to create his stuff, he would book a chunk of time and resources. That is the packaging, the mixing, all the different things that you would need to actually get your product. So what that means is he doesn't have to come up front with all that money to be able to create a professional grade product. That product that you have can sit on any shelf in any country in the world, and it would match or exceed what those companies or those countries expect, because his government was there and they created this environment. So African governments, the idea that a new investor or somebody just starting out is going to have to work on this on their own, you're making it almost impossible for them to get to the quality and the standard that they need to get to really take their product to the next level. Okay. You governments, you can help. You can help by creating similar facilities. And if you want to find out about that, please reach out to me and we'll make sure that you get in touch with the right and appropriate people so that you can, if you want a tour of the facility, I'm sure the government there would allow you to come tour the facility so you can see, and then you can, go back to your country and do something similar for your young or budding entrepreneurs. But you saw the quality that he just showed you. That is A1 quality. How is it available right now?
Well, currently, you can get them from a couple of the local entities here. But one of the things that I like is there's a tourist attraction here locally, Harrison's Cave. And you can actually go to Harrison's Cave to their gift shops, and they will have the products there. There is the Gap Convenience. There's Dover Market. There, so I've channeled them because I market as a premium quality product. I've marketed along the tourist areas, but of course, they will soon be available in the regular supermarkets that you can just go pick your bottle up and go home and do whatever it is that you want to do.
Let me talk about overseas. Is there any movement in terms of that, in terms of the product itself?
Through Export Barbados now, we are now trying to, work out all the necessary details to get it into the UK. A lot of people think it's easy to just get products move across the border. It's not as easy as they think. So you really need government intervention when it comes to those bilateral agreements. So they understand how these products are able to move, what is needed to move them, and the requirements, because you have to be compliant when you go into people's countries. The same way they're going to protect I say the same way we would protect our country from people just sending stuff, they will also do likewise. So you need that bilateral agreement where these governments can talk and say, well, look, we will allow you to export into our country, blah, 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 etc.
One of the big challenges any small businesses face is how do we get, I've got the greatest product in the world. Now I have to get this product out so everybody can know. You, through the government, was able to at least start the process of getting the product into the UK market. For those of you who are watching, I am going to spend a little time talking about the process of getting your product outside, because many of you are not familiar with some of the things he mentioned. He talked about bilateral agreements. Some of you might not even know what that means. So let me spend a minute or two just to set the stage so everybody who's watching understands his world, the world he's dealing with, and the world you're going to deal with. Anytime you're going to ship a product outside of your country, the rules of the destination country is going to kick in. It could be the quality of the product. It could be the health certificates that necessarily need to come along with it. There are lots of regulations that come along with just getting into the market. Not even how you're going to get into the market, just to get in the market. You're going to have all those things. And one of the good things about what has happened to him and his company is the Barbados government worked with him to meet the health standards of the United States and the UK. And frankly, to be honest with you, if you meet those two countries, you probably meet 99% of the other countries in the world. So
that's true.
Just because the government worked with him, he was able to meet those standards. So hurdle one is over. He's got hurdle one down in the sense that, you have to meet the quality specification before you can even think of shipping something to somebody else. And then there's the other side of that, which is how do people find out about your product? If you're starting out, you don't have a lot of money to do $1 billion advertisements or $1 million advertisements. You take Pepsi. Pepsi is an American brand. And if Pepsi wants to start a new brand, they just start the brand and then create an advertising campaign, probably $100 million advertising campaign to tell you about the product, to show you the product and to tell you how good the product is for you. They put money behind something like that. Yeah. So I want you to understand that you don't just jump into a foreign country and the product is there. You have to meet the product quality threshold. Sort of starting our advertising campaign, which requires a lot of money. What other options are available to startups? Well, let me tell you about Kubwa. So Kubwa is a trading platform. Consumers can use it, but generally it's business to business. It's built around the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. And for those of you who do not know what that is, you should Google it. You really should spend some time, especially if you're in business. You should spend some time and just read a little bit about it. Kubwa, the trading platform, is built on top of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. It is a marketplace where Wayne and any companies like him can put their products on there. You could actually put up to 3 products absolutely free on the platform. I'm reminded of a video that I watched where a gentleman in Nigeria he was making toilets, the full porcelain toilet, the bowl, the tank, everything. And these are excellent toilets. And he went out of business. He got an excellent product, excellent price. How did he go out of business? He went out of business because nobody knew where to find him. Remember I said if you have the greatest product but nobody can find you, you don't have anything. So in his case, because there was no one place in Africa where you can go to find, or no one place in a country to go find out who's making what and at what price and the availability. People were buying the same toilet from outside the continent, and that ran him out of business. He had better quality toilet at a better price, still leaving out the business because nobody knew. There was no Kubwa for him to put it on so that others can come there. So Kubwa is a marketplace, just like if you went to the market to buy potatoes or to buy, food ground provision, so to speak. You go to the market because that's where it is. Sellers and buyers are both there. Kubwa is exactly like that. Mm-hmm. What would Kubwa do for somebody like him and a business like yours? First and foremost is when you list on Kubwa, once you put it on Kubwa, the whole world sees it. And you're going to be able to tell the people the availability of the product. For example, how much can you produce at a particular time frame, right? And tiered pricing. Obviously, if somebody wants to buy 1,000 bottles of your barbecue sauce, it's a different price than if they want to buy 10.
Yes.
Right? It's a very different price. So all of that is on Kubwa, and it is going to help you to get visibility. People who come to the market to sell their products come there because they know people are coming there, not necessarily to buy just their product, but to buy other products. And in process of buying other products, sometimes come across yours and like, oh, I didn't realize I need potatoes, and they buy your potatoes. That's what Kubwa is all about. You have a website, correct?
The website is www.auntiephyllisbajanbarbecuesauce.com. Mm-hmm. And we also have the social media handles on Instagram and Facebook, which will be at Auntie Phyllis Bajan Barbecue Sauce.
Okay. So we're going to put those, again, inside of the link in the description so you can have access and you can reach out to Wayne. Show the people again. Just take one of your products because I want them to see the quality we're talking about here, guys.
Yeah.
So this one, right? Can you do me a favor? Use the red one because they can see the can see the thing at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can see the plastic.
The band, the shrink band.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This barbecue sauce. Now, I know a little bit about barbecue sauce, okay? Yes, anyone who, most of us know something about barbecue sauce. And one thing we can tell you is a lot of the big companies, their barbecue sauce is not great. But they have marketing power behind them, and they have name and brand recognition and so on and so forth. It's not because their product is great. It's because they have advertising behind it. Yes. But let me tell you something, guys. This product, if you buy 10 bottles of this, you're going to feel sorry after you buy 10. Let me tell you why you're going to feel sorry. Because the minute you buy 10, here's what's going to happen. You buy 10, you take it home with you, and somebody, you use it to make some food, and somebody tastes it. Now, what they're going to do? What they're going to do is they're going to say, wait a second, what is that? And you say, well, it's this thing. And they're going to say, do you have more? And they're going to ask you for your bottle. And before you know it, you went home with 10, and now you might be lucky if you have one full one left for you. So you end up having to buy more. So, keep in mind, once you buy, I'm telling you what's going to happen. All right. So make sure you don't just buy a small set, because your friends and family are going to, relieve you of some of that. So
it is true. It is true.
And for those of you who cook, and you're not the best cook in the world, but you want to cheat, I'm going to give you a foolproof way to cheat. Okay? Don't tell anybody. Shh. Don't tell anybody I said this, okay? But I'm going to give you a foolproof way to cheat. So if you're into the spicy side of things, you can use one of the spicier sauce. But you can start off with the basics, which is the blue one, the one in the blue. This is the base one.
The original. Yep.
The original.
Right here.
So here's what you do.
Yep.
You're going to make chicken or whatever you're going to make. You take that and you marinate it. You wrap it up nice and let it sit.
Absolutely.
Put your additional spices and whatever else you want to put on it, and let it sit for half an hour. Okay? That's what you're going to do. Let it sit for half an hour. Then you're going to go ahead and make the food. Now, when people start to ask you, what changed? Why did it taste so good? You figure out an excuse, okay? It's your job to figure out, you can tell them you've improved in your cooking, and you wouldn't be lying. You've improved. You can improve in terms of skill. You can improve ingredients or the things that go into it. So you've improved. So you can say that. But it's a foolproof way to get, the awesome taste of Barbados in the Caribbean in your meal. And, it's a shortcut way of cheating. Yeah. So that is my little tip. And don't tell anybody, okay? Just tell them enjoy the food, okay? And then once you do that, then you can go in and order as much as you can. Make sure you always have, a nice amount of bottles somewhere in the back, because you're going to need that going forward, because you can't just switch up on them now. You're going to have to keep that high quality, good tasting meal, delicious meal going. Okay. So that is my tip in terms of cooking tip. All right, let's come back a little bit, because we're going to pretty much kind of wind down here. Let me just add this to you, Collie. Now that you mentioned what you said about marinating, because everybody hears Auntie Phyllis Bajan barbecue sauce, and they will just attach it to putting meat on the grill or brushing it, on the grill. But the product is so fantastic that you can use it as a dip. So if you got your French fry or chips, as people call them, you can dip and use that. You can use it as a marinade, as you mentioned, to, spice up your meats. You can use it in your stews and your sauces. You can use it in the traditional way, as we mentioned, of barbecuing, but you can also give it as a gift. A family member, a friend, you can just share it with them and let them experience our Bajan culture, as I say, in a bottle. When you give it as a gift, okay, so that the people don't hate you, make sure you give multiple bottles. Because like I said, I'm telling you up front, if you give one bottle, if you give one bottle, somebody's going to take that bottle from the person you gave. So you got to give more than one bottle. So just keep that in mind, okay? Because you don't want somebody to come back to you and say, hear what you caused. You gave me this thing, I tasted it once and it took the rest. So, Wayne, the next step obviously for you now is what? Just making sure that you can scale this up and you can get this into all the different markets, right? You can get it into the Jamaican market, you can get it into the Grenadian market, the St. Lucian market, the Tanzanian market, the Nigerian market, the Ghanaian market, the whole of Africa, and the United States. You want to get it into that market as well. UK, Canada, all the different places. And at some point, hopefully you have to translate the label, because you have it in Europe as well, but that's coming down the road. So that is your goal, right? That is the next push on you. We know we'll be able to help you along that by using Cuba to get it exposed. To anyone who's listening, who's starting a business, free exposure, never, ever turn down free exposure, or use as many public platforms as you can get your hands on that you can help to use to promote your product, because it's very, very expensive to market. If you get somebody to come in and promote your product, they're going to charge you a lot of money.
Yes.
You know, just about anything they do for you, you're going to charge a lot of money, and you don't have that up front when you're starting your business. You're just at the stage where you're trying to get enough products ready so that you can market it. That's what Kubo is all about, okay? So just go to online, KUUBWA.com, Kubo.com. The link will also be in the description. And talk to the audience about the journey. Is this something that you would do again if you had to start over from scratch?
I would do it again in a heartbeat. Remember, it's your business. You have to drive it. Nobody's going to drive it for you. So that's my piece of advice that I would advise everybody. And when they get opportunities like this, where I am thankful to you for giving me the opportunity to express and showcase my product and get on your platform, so that the visibility allows persons, as you said, you can have the best kept secret. You don't want that. You want everybody to know. So on a platform like yours, it gives everybody the opportunity, the availability to see the product, to purchase the product, and to also explore their own possibilities. Because, as I say, the sky is the limit. There's always endless possibilities.
Thank you. So, folks, we've come to the end of the program. You know, Wayne, I want to thank you personally for sharing your story. You know, people learn from each other, and it's important that we share our stories, because in so doing, you are inspiring the next person or the next generation sometimes to start business. You know, starting a business is not rocket science. It is a lot of work. Yes, I understand that. But it is extremely rewarding when you see, you know, you have a product that you can lift it up and show somebody, look, this is the product. You feel proud of it because you've it took something to get there. Okay.
Yeah.
No matter how big a company is today, it started as a small thing. Once again, I'd ask that you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. Also, please like this video. Tell YouTube this is a very important video for you, and it should be important to everybody else. And by all means, share the video with everyone. Wayne, again, thank you so much for being on the channel. Thank you so much for your inspiring story. And, you know, we'll be talking again soon. So until such time, take care and thank you for coming.
And thank you for having me.